Hey all, welcome to Homeschool. Hope everybody are doing good and welcome back to class 11 chemistry series. I am with the chapter chemical bonding, the most important chapter that you have to concentrate. Already a video, part 1 video is completed on this chemical bonding where I taught you introduction to different bonds, like how covalent bond can be formed, how ionic bond can be formed, and most importantly I taught you a beautiful trick to write the Lewis dot structures easily. See, for many students, writing a dot structure is a big headache. I mean, they get confused. If it is an easy molecule, they write. If it is a difficult molecule, they hesitate to draw the Lewis dot structure. But if you can follow this trick, you can draw the Lewis dot structure for any given molecule easily. So don't forget to watch that video. Just go to the description and find out the video if you have not yet watched. And coming to part 2, the second video of chemical bonding, I am here to discuss every detailed thing about ionic bond, stability of ionic bond, and we will also solve some questions regarding competitive examinations. Okay, so today's topic is all about ionic bond, conditions of forming ionic bond, properties of ionic compounds, and most importantly something about the lattice enthalpy. Very, very important. And watch the video till the end. Definitely you will get maximum benefit out of it. Okay. See, in the previous video, I gave a small introduction on ionic compound as well as covalent compound. Ionic bond formation, covalent bond formation, right? More detailed aspects were discussed on covalent bond formation. Like I have shown you how sharing of electrons takes place in order to satisfy the octet rule. Everything we discussed, right? So actually those writing Lewis dot structures is for covalent molecules. They are all covalent ion. They have covalent bonds. Whatever the ions or molecules that I have shown in my previous video. Okay, so today we will discuss everything about ionic compound. Clear? See in the example of forming NaCl molecule, right? So Na is the atom which has electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1, right? So this sodium atom, if it can lose this one electron, it gets 8 electron concept in its last shell. It can satisfy the octet rule. It can obey the octet rule. So this sodium will always like to lose that last valence electron. So on losing one electron, sodium becomes Na plus, right? So one electron will come out and you will get a sodium cation here, right? And coming to Cl, say Cl gets stability by accepting one electron. Cl obeys octet rule by accepting the electron that is given by sodium, and this Cl gets converted into Cl minus anion, right? And now when Na plus and Cl minus come closer, an electrostatic force of attraction gets created between them. Electrostatic force of attraction in the sense an attraction that exists between positive and negative things is called electrostatic force of attraction. So due to that attraction, they both stay together as a molecule or compound, which we call it as NaCl, and this is what we mean by ionic compound. Okay, so the compound which have ionic bond is called ionic compound. Right? So this is the way of showing the formation of ionic compound. This itself we will call it as transfer of electrons. So electron has transferred from sodium atom to Cl atom. Sodium gave electron, Cl took electron. That way both atoms can obey octet rule, both atoms can become stable, and they stay together as a stable compound, which we call it as NaCl. Okay, an ionic compound. Fine. And there are certain conditions to form ionic compound. That's what we have to discuss in a detailed way. So I am going to talk about conditions for forming ionic compound. So note it down, guys. This is very, very important to understand. The first condition, the atom that is losing electron to form a cation, must have large atomic size and it should have less ionization enthalpy. Okay, so what is our first condition? Atom which is converting into cation must have large size, large atomic radii. Atomic radii must be large. That means its size must be large and should have low ionization enthalpy. This is, if something is larger in size, then ionization enthalpy is very less, right? All these we have discussed in our third chapter, periodic classification of elements, right? So if see sodium, this is a S block element, it comes in group 1 elements. So group 1 elements are always bigger atoms. See, if the atom is very big, what happens? Outermost electron is located somewhere very far from a nucleus. So this electron finds very easy to come outside. Okay, you no need to struggle to remove this electron. With very less energy, you can easily remove this electron, right? So that's why the atoms which are actually forming as cations must have large atomic radii. That means they should be larger in size and they should possess, low ionization energy. So this is the first condition. Okay. And the second condition is atoms that are forming anion. Atoms that form anions must have high electronegativity. High electronegativity. Must be high electronegative. Okay, or they must have small atomic radii. In other words, small atomic radii. Okay, so this is really very important. So here this chlorine is getting converted into anion. So usually whichever the atoms that are converting into anion, they should have more electronegative property and they should be smaller in size. Okay, so the one which is converting into cation must be larger in size with less ionization enthalpy, and the one which is forming as anion must have less size, less atomic radii and high electronegativity. Okay, so this must be the condition. And coming to the third condition. Okay, so not only ionization energy and atomic radii important, but another new word that is important here is lattice energy. Okay, see, more the lattice energy, more is the stability of ionic compound. Okay, so stability, what I will write is stability of ionic compound depends on lattice energy or lattice enthalpy. Okay, we can call it as lattice energy or lattice enthalpy. Both are same. Okay, so now let us try to understand what exactly we mean by lattice enthalpy. See guys, for forming ionic compound, not only forming cation and anion is important. So first step of forming ionic compound is, first you should have some cation, you should have some anion. Once this cation and anion is formed, there must be a strong force of attraction between these two guys, right? Only then you will get a stable ionic compound. Ionic compound. Okay, so when do you get stable ionic compound? When this force of attraction is strong, when electrostatic force of attraction is very, very strong, then a stable ionic compound is formed. Okay, so normally whenever a new attractions are created, energy is released. Okay, so when there was a creation of attraction between positive and negative guy, I mean, whenever there is a strong electrostatic force of attractions, what happens? Energy gets released. So this point I have also discussed in my periodic table videos, right? So whenever, say this is one ion, this is another ion. So whenever there is an attraction between these two, say attraction is a new thing that is created between these two guys to stay together. Okay, so to stay together. So whenever a new attractions are created between any two substances, lots of energy is released. Okay, the more the energy released, more is the attraction that we say. Okay, so how do you know that whether you have more attraction between these ions or not? Looking at the amount of energy that is getting released. Okay, so more the energy released, we say yes, more attraction is getting generated between the ions. So more attraction, more stable, right? So that released energy, okay, when two ions are combining, is called lattice energy. Okay, so let me write the definition of lattice energy here. The amount of energy released, the amount of energy released when two ions combine, okay, in their gaseous states. Okay, so actually lattice enthalpy has another definition, but this is one of the definition that we are using for this situation. Okay, so when two ions which are there in their gaseous state try to combine, the amount of energy released is called lattice energy. Okay, so another point that I would like to mention here is more the lattice energy, more is the attraction. This point is very, very important, guys. More is the attraction between cation and anion. If more is the attraction between cation and anion, then that particular ionic compound is more stable. Okay, so this is how we decide the stability of ionic compound based on lattice enthalpy or lattice energy. Okay, so when there is more attraction, more energy is released. So more the lattice enthalpy, I can say more is the stability of ionic compound. So this point is really, really very, very important. And now actually our lattice enthalpy depends on certain factors. Okay, let us check on what factors our lattice enthalpy can depend. See guys, our lattice enthalpy, in short I will write it as LE. Lattice enthalpy is directly proportional to, this is very, very important, charge of cation into charge of anion. Okay, so it is directly proportional to charge of cation and charge of anion. Many questions can be worked out of this particular point. Okay, so if this product is more, then more is the lattice enthalpy you will find. More the lattice enthalpy, more is the stability of ionic compound, right? So indirectly you can decide which ionic compound is more stable and which is less stable, right? Okay, and also one more point, try to remember guys, usually larger the size of cationic atom, okay, larger the size of atom that forms cation, lower is the lattice enthalpy. Okay, so remember guys, right? So lattice enthalpy is directly proportional to product of charge of cation and charge of anion. And another point you need to remember is larger the size of atom that forms cation, okay, lower is the lattice energy. Okay, so now let us try to work out with some questions based on these two topics, I mean these 2 points. Observe the first question here. So it's a very famous question. You have a compounds MgCl2, MgO, and the other one, let me take Mg3N2. Okay, so all these are ionic compounds, and the question is which among them is having more lattice enthalpy. Okay, so this is what the question. So now how do you decide? You see the cation here, everywhere it is Mg only, right? So you can't work out the question based on the second point. Okay, so based on the size of cation, you can work out, right? So more the size of cation, less will be the lattice energy. Okay, so in every ionic compound, cation is Mg. So based on second point you can't work. You work it based on the first point. Okay, say lattice enthalpy is directly proportional to charge of cation into charge of anion. So first you calculate this charge of cation into charge of anion in all the 3 compounds. Okay, so first let me take MgCl2. So what is cation? Mg. What is its charge? Its charge is 2, right? So plus 2, actually plus 2, don't worry about the sign, just take the numerical 2 into anion is Cl. What will be its charge? Its charge is minus 1. So that is just 1. So 2 into 1, 2. And coming to MgO. So Mg's charge is plus 2. Just 2 I am taking, plus I am neglecting. And oxygen's charge is minus 2, isn't it? So minus I will leave, just 2 I will take. So 2 2s are 4. And next one is Mg3N2. Mg's charge is plus 2. Just 2 I took, and nitrogen's charge is minus 3. Nitrogen's valency, charge in the sense here valency. Nitrogen's valency is minus 3, right? So that is 3. 2 3s are 6. So where do you get the more number? See, more the product of charge of cation and charge of anion, more is the lattice enthalpy. So more value you got in case of Mg3N2. So what is your answer? Mg3N2 is having more lattice enthalpy. Okay, so this has more lattice enthalpy. So this must be your answer. Okay, so which of them is more stable, they'll ask you, right? So the one which has got more lattice enthalpy is always more stable, right? So Mg3N2 itself is more stable here, right? So based on lattice enthalpy, you can some extent decide the stability of ionic compound. And remember here, stability of ionic compound doesn't only depend on lattice enthalpy. Okay, it is one of the factor on which stability depends. Okay, for deciding stability of ionic compound, there are various factors that you need to consider, but based on lattice enthalpy, if you are talking about stability, then this is how you can work it out. Okay, and now let us go for question number 2. Very important question. You have NaCl, okay, KCl and cesium chloride, right? So my question is, which one has more lattice enthalpy, right? So how do you decide? And here, if you calculate charge of cation into charge of anion for all, see what you get. Sodium's charge is 1, chlorine's charge is 1. Potassium belongs to first group, its valency is plus 1. So 1 is the charge, chlorine 1. Cesium chloride, cesium's charge is also 1, chlorine's charge is also 1. So everywhere the product of cation charge and anion charge is 2. So you can't decide based on the first point. Let's go for the second point. What did I tell you? Larger the size of cation, lesser will be the lattice enthalpy. So cation here is Na, here potassium, here cesium. So who is larger and who is smaller? Definitely cesium is larger, right? Cesium is large cation and sodium is small. So my question is, which one has more lattice enthalpy? Smaller the size of cation, more is the lattice enthalpy, right? So answer is NaCl. NaCl has more lattice enthalpy. Okay, so this is how you can decide your answer based on these 2 points. Guys, note down these points. Okay, so it was explained in a very detailed way. Definitely this will help you out to answer the competitive questions. Some of the competitive questions, if it is asked on lattice enthalpy and stability of ionic compound. Okay, say here you observe one thing, more lattice enthalpy you got for NaCl, right? So if I ask you who is more stable, which compound is more stable, then definitely more lattice, based on lattice enthalpy, if you are telling NaCl has got more lattice enthalpy, so NaCl is more stable ionic compound. Okay, so this way you can conclude a few aspects about the stability of ionic compound. Okay, so this is how questions can be asked, and this is how you will have to work out with the questions. And now coming to the properties of ionic compound. Okay, see these properties already we studied for our basic classes, right? Nothing much different. So the first property of ionic compound, ionic compounds are actually soluble in water. They are soluble in water. Okay, so this is the first major point. And ionic compound in liquid state actually conduct electricity, right? So they have ability to conduct electricity, because ionic compound in liquid state or in molten state, they break up into ions. These ions are movable. So movable ions always conduct electricity. Whereas in a solid state, ions will not move. They are tightly held by electrostatic force of attraction, right? So in solid state, they do not conduct electricity, but in liquid or molten state, they do conduct electricity. And another point is, they will show very, very high melting points and boiling points. Okay, since ionic compounds are more stable, usually any compound which has got more lattice enthalpy, it will always have high melting and boiling point. Okay, try to remember this. Any compound which has got more lattice enthalpy in the sense, then that compound will have high melting and boiling point. So generally ionic compounds have more lattice enthalpies. So in general, if we have to speak, ionic compounds have high melting and boiling points. Okay, so these are some properties of ionic compounds. And coming to covalent compound, see in my part 1 video, we discussed how sharing of electrons takes place and how covalent bonds are formed. Okay, say covalent molecules, covalent compounds are not soluble in water. They do not conduct electricity even in a liquid state, and they have less melting and boiling points. So all points that I have mentioned here is opposite for covalent compounds. Okay, so with this I am completing this session, where I discussed everything about the formation of ionic compound, conditions required for forming ionic compound, and something called lattice enthalpy and factors affecting lattice enthalpy. And one more point is, this lattice enthalpy can be calculated. You can actually say this much energy is released during the formation of NaCl or during the formation of KCl. It can be calculated. Okay, so it is calculated indirectly by a method called Born-Haber cycle. Born-Haber cycle. Whereas about this Born-Haber cycle, we will study in a chapter called thermodynamics. Okay, so just try to remember the name here. Born-Haber cycle is the method of calculating lattice enthalpy. Okay, you can get one numerical value for this energy, right? Okay, so with this, I am completing this session. In my next session, I'm discussing a very, very important topic. A slight introduction I'll give you now. You see, every ionic bond has some covalent nature, and every covalent bond has some ionic nature. That means no ionic bond is 100% ionic. Okay, and no covalent bond is 100% covalent. Okay, in a covalent bond there is some ionic character. In ionic bond there is some covalent character. Okay, so this is what we are going to study. So we are going to discuss about the polarity of bonds, polarization, the most important Fazan's rule. And this topic is very, very, very important for competitive examination. So don't miss to watch this particular video. Okay, so meet you all with that topic. Thank you so much, and do subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in a easiest way and in a detailed way. See you all in the next video.